A city of magnificent stature, a centre of commerce, fashion and culture, passive, aggressive, capital of the world.
Hi there. You found yourself in London, England, a gem in the English crown, and one of the most diverse and cultural cities in the world, with a population of over 7.5 million people and covering a distance of 600 square miles and 83 triangular ones. London is one of the busiest and most thriving centres on Earth. Hi there. I'm Vincent Mahoney, star of BBC Three's late night quiz show, Guess That Smell.
I'm gonna have to hurry you.
In my time, I've done it all. Writer, actor, part-time beef eater. But most importantly, I'm a Londoner. I'll be your guide, confidant, and hopefully friend during your trip to the great city. I'll show you the what's what, the where's where, the who's who, and the when's which of London. You'd be so lost without me, you wouldn't know your elephant and castle from your column of Nelson. Someone once said that if you're tired of London, you're tired of life. But if anything, life is tired of me. But don't just take my word on how great this city is.
Yeah, it's pretty good, I'd say.
And there you have it. So don't let the smell of urine put you off. Follow me, because we're about to take you humming. Yeah, you're jelly. Some waterfalls, please stick. London's magnificent history dates as far back as 1770 or 1770, when Roderick I, or Rodney as he was known at the time, ordered the construction of a new city on the River Thames, or Thames as it was known at the time. This was applauded as a keen-sighted and brilliant move, as it allowed transportation and trade down the river's path, but also because the king liked to play with little boats.
The city took just 50 years to build and became renowned around the land as one of the most thriving spots in the country, stretching from Westminster to Tower Bridge. The king named his city Zone 1.
Sadly, shortly afterwards, brave Rodney drowned, trying to set sail on one of his toy boats. This was the historic vessel he set forth on. 50 men, 7 women, and a goose are believed to have perished in the calamity. The death of such a great man was mourned and brought an end to a period of stability that had been so fundamental in the city's initial growth. With no clear and decisive successor, London faced a period of grave instability.
During this time, a secret society of men emerged, who through their influence and personal standing came to control the strings of power. This shadowy order, composed of elements from every area of society, became collectively known as the Order of the Black Cab. From merchants to physicians and bankers to barbers, the order is thought to have had members in almost every profession, each associated by their shared secret of what they called the knowledge.
Their influence continued throughout the 1800s, until suddenly, at the turn of the 20th century, like that, they were gone, underground. Nobody's ever seen them since. Many argue that the order only receded further into the shadows, and still whisper in the ears of power to
this day.
In 1907, Winston Churchill was crowned king, heralding a new era of stability, which made the next 100 years pretty quiet, really. Most Londoners filled time by taking up little hobbies such as gardening, knitting, basket weaving or drinking. Apart from a slight disagreement with the Germans, nothing of note happened throughout the 20th century, right up until the invention of the iPhone in 2007, which changed everything, bringing us right up to date with a dynamic, thrusting and gyrating London.
When coming to London, it's not a matter of what there is to see, but rather what is there not to see.
London's skyline is equal to some of the world's best, including Sydney, New York and Swansea. And some of the most famous spots are within just a stone's throw of each other. There's so much to do. I'm just going to throw you a few ideas. Starting here on the South Bank, there's a relatively easy way to see some of London's most famous landmarks in a short space of time. Behind me is arguably London's most famous site, Big Ben. The clock tower stands an incredible 86 high, and its face is an astonishing 17 diameters in width. In 1981, the clock's second hand was stolen, and for many years, Big Ben has struggled with its seconds and is known for its 67-second minute and 74-minute hour.
At the turn of the millennium, the government thought it would be more fitting if this symbol of London could be brought up to date, and to this end in February 2000, the face of Big Ben was changed to a digital display. A short 45-minute walk along the river's path will take you on a brief but concise tour of some of the most famous places of interest, past St Paul's Cathedral, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the Tate Modern, and finally to Tower Bridge and the Tower of London. The Tower is famous for its many uses as a treasury, armoury, and the home of the crown jewels, but perhaps most famously as a prison and site of execution. Not too long ago, heads on spikes would line the fortified walls as a hellish reminder to all who saw them.
The last person to be executed this way was Simon Cowell, after his trial for his crimes against humanity. The Mirror memorably ran the headline, "How will you get out of that one?"
The real question is, with so much to see, how do you begin to make a choice?
So what's your favourite part of London?
I don't know, somewhere a little quiet like the park. Perhaps.
You like somewhere a little closer to nature, eh?
Well, for me it's Greenwich. I've always loved Greenwich. You've got all the pubs there, which are great, and you know, the park, I can just stay there. You know, I love it in the summer. Yeah. And it's not far away actually, because I live in Blackheath. So
Oh, you're a Black Heathen? I didn't mean it in any... you... So what's your favourite part of London?
The East End. I'm from Bow. That's in the east. Just down the road from the church, mate. Bow bells are my alarm clock. Don't get much more cockney than me.
That's great, mate.
So, whereabouts in London are you from?
Red Hill,
Red Hill? Where the hell's that?
South London.
Red Hill? Never heard of it. Oh, hang on. Yes, I have. That's not even in London, is it?
Yeah, of course it is.
No, it ain't.
Of course it is.
Well, where? How'd you get into Central?
By train?
What, direct?
Yeah, of course. Come straight in.
Yeah, but do you stop?
No, why would I stop?
I mean, do you change? What?
Yeah, yes.
Where? Where do you change?
I just, jump on the train, then quick change, and then come in here.
Where? How many times?
Twice.
Twice? That must be in Zone 8 or something, innit?
Yeah, but Zone 8 of what?
London.
Moving slightly north of the river, we enter the West End, the famous West End, likely to be your primary playground during your time here. The famous shops of Covent Garden and the glitzy lights of Leicester Square bring in the tourists like moths. Not that I've ever seen a moth in a theatre. The majority of London's theatres are located here, showing glitzy, large-scale musicals that probably should have moved along some time ago.
Just south of Leicester Square sits the classically designed Trafalgar Square, which most closely resembles the grandeur of other European cities, with its wide open space, grand architecture, and irritating preponderance of tourists. The lions which stand guard at each corner were real right up until 1972, when they were stolen. The most famous landmark is, of course, Nelson Column, standing magnificently in the centre of the square. Upon its unveiling, in a fit of bravado and excitement, Nelson climbed up the column as part of a stunt. Unfortunately, with no clear way down, there he stayed. The River Thames was brought to England around 300 years ago, some years before London's birth. Originally a stretch of the Nile, it was given to the English in lieu of debts owed for their aid in building the pyramids in 1700.
I'm in Neasden. Don't come here.
In 2007, the monarchy, facing near bankruptcy, was bought out by Camelot Group plc, operators of the UK National Lottery, at which point they incorporated the title of monarch into their franchise. Britons all over the country pay £1 a go for the chance to become king or queen for a year. In a city so vast, there is always the risk of feeling hemmed in, but it shouldn't take you long to seek out some of London's beautiful and open green spaces. Parks. Greenwich is a perfect retreat from the bustle of the inner city. Known as the Millennium Borough, it is famous for its accomplished University of Art, Dance and Music, as the home of the Royal Observatory, and the spectacular Marmite Museum. It is also the place where time begins.
The observatory, top of the hill right there, sits directly on the meridian line. The point-like singularity that we've all come to know as the universe today originated here, in leafy Greenwich, making that point right up there the centre of the universe. Time emanates and flows from right up there. Can you hear it? Shh. Will you? So, can you hear it? One thing you may notice is that the closer you get to the observatory, the slower time seems to travel. And if you stand up there, right on the meridian line, you can see time travel in all directions at once. London is one of the best cities in the world for shopping, with hundreds of clothes shops in Carnaby Street, Regent Street and Oxford Street, Harrods and Hamleys. If it's shopping you're after, you can find it here. I'm a little bit giraffe. Giraffe, giraffe's neck, peck, peckish. I'm a little bit giraffe. There are tons of fantastic tourist attractions all across the city, if you're stuck for somewhere to throw your money. The London Eye offers incredible views of the city during a 30-minute ride in one of its pods.
The impressive 3-kilometre high wheel is all that now remains of the giant fairground, built next to the river by Isambard Kingdom Brunel for the Great Exhibition in 1851. Madame Tussauds, the famous museum of wax figures, is always a popular destination for tourists. If you can stand the queue, it is well worth a visit for a chance to see incredibly realistic models of some hugely popular characters such as Marilyn Monroe, Keith Richards and Adolf Hitler. After the recent downturn in his career, Peter Andre has taken a minimum wage job playing his own wax model. Head down to Highgate Cemetery for an opportunity to see Karl Marx's grave and give a nod to the father of modern socialism. You can head to the cemetery shop afterwards to buy all sorts of souvenirs such as umbrellas and pencil cases with Marx's face on them. There is a small entrance fee, but it's worth it, and monuments to socialist ideals don't maintain themselves. Have a conversation with Oscar Wilde just off the Strand. This bench, which was designed to offer a place for Londoners to perch and converse with the famous wit, bears his famous remark, "We're all stars for 15 minutes, but some of us are looking at the gutter."
Shocking.
Visit the BFI IMAX cinema in Waterloo to experience the biggest screen on the planet. They exclusively show films in 3D, because let's face it, it's just not worth seeing otherwise. The growing rich poor gap and the extravagant bonuses awarded in the city are just not Tony. Tony Blair, fair.
Oh, God. Where can I get something to eat? You're probably thinking to yourself at this point. Most Londoners subsist entirely on jellied eels and the ubiquitous chip, which isn't entirely to everyone's taste, but does represent the most authentic culinary experience for those wishing to adapt to the lifestyle. Alongside this, you may enjoy a platter of other traditional titbits such as cockles, whelks and winkles, what's it, wish sticks, Jim Bobs and Willies. Otherwise, you can find a plethora of restaurants and takeaways serving, frankly, questionable cuisine from across the continent.
London is, of course, one of the leading cultural cities in the world, offering a feast for the eyes, ears and mind.
This is a city where art and history drips off the walls, so if you want some, grab a sponge. The museums are free, and brilliant they are too. But you don't have to go to the museums to get your fix of culture. Just take a look around and you'll see art and architecture everywhere you turn. Splendid buildings looking really old.
Sir Christopher Wren's St Paul's Cathedral, the monument and arguably his masterpiece, the O2 Arena. Furthermore, everywhere you turn, you will be under the watchful eyes of London's greatest fictional and real-life heroes. The city has over 100,000 statues embodying some of history's most famous names, including Winston Churchill, the Duke of Wellington, and of course, William Shakespeare, the author of the complete works of William Shakespeare. London has a rampant and open gay scene. Key places of interest might be GAY, Gay, or Hampstead Heath.
The area known as Soho is famous for its bars, clubs, and filthy sex shops. It's also the centre of a thriving gay community. Oh, here's one now.
One what?
There is a fear widely shared among scientists that London is becoming so vast that it risks collapsing in on itself. If it continues to expand on its current rate without any efforts made to curb its growth, it will eventually implode.
What's your favourite thing about London?
the culture. There is always something interesting to do in London.
Well, it's got to be David's big society, hasn't it? I mean, it's just so bloody big.
All right.
Hello.
What's your favourite thing about London?
I'm not sure, really.
Must be something.
No, I'm not sure. I find London a little bit love-hate, actually.
What do you mean? What's there to hate about it?
Well, I don't know. It's all right. There's lots to do, but I just find that it can get you down a little bit sometimes. The people, the commuting.
I don't like people or something.
No, I'm just saying that I find London can be a little bit oppressive. There's some quite rough areas.
Well, they're not rough, they're vibrant. Come on, there must be something you like. West End?
No, I'm not really into theatre.
Theatre? You're not into theatre? What about the museums?
Yes, they're all right.
All right? The best museums in the world.
Well, I like to go to the park and read my book.
Read a book? You can read a book anywhere at any time.
Well, I don't know. Can't think of anything else.
Well, if you don't want to live here, don't live here then. The point still stands. The point still stands. There's loads to see in London, as long as you're up for it. As long as you're up for it. The truth is, you can enjoy the museums, you can enjoy the art and architecture, you can enjoy the promiscuous and carefree proliferation of gay relations. But no good cultural tour of London would be complete without taking a trip to one of the capital's traditional English pubs for a good old Cockney knees up.
Get the knees up!
They may call New York the city that never sleeps, but London's trains can get you anywhere as late as midnight. So we're not that far behind. You're going to need to find yourself one of these, an Oyster card. Easily topped up at any of London's underground stations, making travelling quicker, cheaper and easier. However, if you want unparalleled access to the high life, you're going to need to find yourself one of these. A lobster card, used by London's fashionable elite.
The trains are frequent enough, and you'll never be left waiting long for one to come along. One word of warning: never try to press the open button on the tube door, because they open automatically, and you'll just end up looking like an idiot. People are always saying health and safety has gone mad. Incessant instructions to mind the gap are just an example of this. That said, under the current government, it remains illegal to fall down the gap.
No, don't worry about it. I found it. It was in my pocket. In 2009, the Northern Line was renamed the Northern and Southern Line when it became apparent that lots of people were stranded in High Barnet, not aware that trains also ran the other way. Hundreds of people were forced to sleep in the station, but at least one person was killed. Sorry, I mean at least one person was killed. Please be aware it's perfectly permissible to travel south on the same line. I need your help again. I can't find my phone, because usually I feel it.
If you're not looking to go far, why not hop on one of the local pack cockneys? These crafty folk have combined a love of basket weaving with their knowledge of London to provide a quick, no-fuss service to busy Londoners. How are you getting there? I think I'll take the opera. Opera, Sydney Opera House, Sydney, liver and kidney, liver, Danube River, Danube, tube. I'll meet you at South Kensington. Opera. A brief word of warning. Traditionally speaking, the average Londoner is a savage breed of human, a highly unlikable blend of arrogance and prejudice. Don't make eye contact with anyone. This hardened attitude has developed as a defence mechanism against the incessant pressure of commuter travel, smog and jellied eels. Tread carefully.
One thing is for sure. London's demographic is transforming at such an incredible rate that there's little telling as to what to expect from the people that live here. The population is almost continuously experiencing a crisis of identity.
I don't even know who I am half of the time.
Didn't I used to be Chinese?
Well, there you have it. London, England, UK world. A bustling, exciting, thrusting, happening, trendy, liberated, cultured, historic, inspiring, inspired melting pot of a capital city. A city of sunsets and sunrises. Buildings, people, pavements, rivers and bridges, traffic, fine dining and not so fine dining. A place where you can wake up in the morning and go to bed in the evening. A place where people get up in the morning, go to work, finish work, have a drink and go home again. A place where your best friend's brother can become your adopted second cousin all in the space of a hazy summer. A place where dreams are made and quite often not made at all.
So come on, there's no use gingerly standing on the banks, watching the water of life go rushing past in a torrent of excitement and activity. You have to just bite the bullet and jump in.
What's the use of biding your time, watching it all pass you by? Get involved, choose life.
Choose an Oyster card, choose adventure on the Northern and Southern line, choose 250 different languages, choose cockles, whelks and winkles with a side helping of spaghetti bolognese, choose keeping to the right and minding the gap on a non-stop hop from zone 1 to 9, choose carefree gay relations with a Pat Cockney.
Choose a city of 1,000 secrets, not all of which you wish to hear. Choose London!
Yes, choose it.